Let's get it going on. Start streaming and start recording. Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods. Happy Monday. It is Monday evening, which means it's the Floating Yoga Fundamentals Book Club. We last week finished this book. What book is this? The Only Way Out is In, the one that we've been reading for quite some time now. We're done with it. So we're going to go over a little recap, right? But before we get to the recap, I got to tell you where it's at. We are here at UE Center, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education. We're redefining how you see health and wellness in your community, bringing the power of growth and healing back to the individual's hands. Also, I'd like to thank Surreal Audio Solutions, DJ Thrill, and No Commercials International. It's a whole bunch of magic happening. I'm actually going to bring it. I'm going to get up and do it. Daggone it. I ain't got a broadcasting team. It's just me. We out in the streets. Boom. So I got some bowls and stuff that came in. Ooh, so you get the soundtrack for all the meditations that you rock with in the morning, right? You can get the soundtrack. Yeah, Zoom's what up? Yeah, Zoom rocking. Come on through that joint. You can check it out on the website and everything. Here's another bowl coming in from Buddha Blessing. We got some 14-inch, 10-inch, some dope-ass designs. Hold up, here go another one. Whoosh. All right, now you know that look cool, right? You know that look cool. Exactly. And these motherfuckers sound phenomenal. Oh my gosh. So anyway, they're going to be up on the website. Check them out. And also the soundtrack is on all streaming platforms, The Floating Yogi, and it is live from Costa Rica, Blue Spirit. Check it out. A great way to start the day, meditating in the morning. Just take you away, take you to the rainforest. What else is there? If you want to join the discussion, because we'll be going over some of the parts that we already covered, the Tantra, Yoga, Ayurveda. If you want to join the conversation, hop in the Zoom room. That's on my website, thefloatingyogi.com. Book an experience and it'll take you straight to the link. Boom. And that's how we rocking. What else is there? I feel like I'm missing something. Ooh. Boom. Last partner, Born to Fly Fitness, where fitness is fashion. That's the last one. We got a whole bunch of stuff happening, but I'm going to jump into the book. Let's see. There were some fun things, just to summarize what we were going over. So they did the little introduction of the guy. He's got a pretty interesting story, my life story. He fucked with Osho. I rock with Osho. That's the next book we're reading, Osho Book of Secrets. Feel free to not buy the book, because when I tell you that John is a Bible, that motherfucker is a Bible. So maybe you don't buy it. However, there is the opportunity to just tap in on the replays that will be posted on all social media and on YouTube, and you can check back in and see like, oh, I missed this section on whatever we're going to go over. It's here for you. All right. Let's see. Where does this start? Where do I want to start with it? So, on page 52 is where we're going to get started. After the intro, and it asks, what is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is an interesting concept. We haven't really, in America, it's not really a real prominent thing unless you're in those niche fields, like those holistic healing fields or the alternative medicine fields. I don't know how the things that have been around forever are now the alternative medicine. I'm gonna just let you ponder on that. But Ayurveda is the science and wisdom of living in life. That's the definition of it. So how I like to look at it is, it's about knocking down that. It's about incorporating what you want and who you are into the things that you do. It's about bringing more awareness and more presence to the things that you do. What up? There he is. What's up, Tony? So that's one of the differences from Ayurveda. It's the science of life and living. One thing about life is we're always talking about things in the future, or we're talking about things in the past when we speak on life. But when we say living, we're talking about in the now, the eternal now, the perpetual moment that is now, which is a whole different understanding. That means we were talking a couple of weeks ago about instead of evolving past our situations and our problems, involving ourselves in them. So that's where this this whole thing comes in play. Ayurveda allows us to involve ourselves in our life, to grab the reins so we can consciously dictate where we go, and what we do. So that's like the breakdown of Ayurveda. Let's see. There's some other fun things in here. Ba-da-da. Where did it come from? So they were the next section. They talk about where did it come from, and they're talking about these things called Rishis. Rishis are like, we can call them modern day mystics, but before modern day times, we can call them, or maybe I like to call them, the people who hang out in the mountains and meditate for like 5 years at a time. That's not my life. However, meditating in the city, it's a lot of observations to perceive. That's all I'm saying.
I would really like a breakdown of like what all the different names for all of y'all yogis or spiritual, like wonderful people are, like the shamans versus the yogis versus the gurus versus the hermits and monks and mountain
And the Rishis. Yeah, man.
Exactly. Because when you said Rishis, that made me think about the Orishas.
Oh.
Like, that's not the same.
That's not the same. Nah.
Like, superheroes, let's go.
Yeah, no. Orishas and Rishis, very different things. One's more so superhero-esque. The other one is like, kind of superhero-esque. I know I'm not the only one. What is his name? David Blaine. He would be a modern day Rishi.
That's dope. That's real dope.
You know, he can pierce himself with a needle through the bicep, no blood will come out. So he has awareness of the different systems in the body. We're going to get to this, but the different elements: earth, fire, air, water, and ether, the things that create every aspect of existence. He's aware of them and has the perception to shift them within himself and outside of himself. So when he pokes a certain area, he tells all the blood, don't go to this muscle. Because if you go to this muscle, you're going to come outside of the body. You ain't trying to be out there, so chill out somewhere else. Hit the armpit or something. Find the elbow. There we go. And there's other interesting, like, conscious similarities that happen to it. And a lot of these things are awakened through meditation, because it's how we relate to the world. It's no longer trying to make change, but thoroughly seeing what's happening. What up, Rashida? Hey, there she is, though. All right, so they talk about these Rishis being in the mountains for like all these years, just like I said. They said the Rishis knew everything came out of consciousness and would like to define consciousness as existence observing itself in manifestation. In other words, existence or divine presence observing itself in everything that exists, seeing the unseen. These Rishis saw consciousness as a perfectly balanced state of being where no separation exists. And that's like a little bit more to the involution, the involving yourself in your life, in your decisions, in your actions, and feeling it, because the feels come with it. The more conscious and aware you are, the more you feel, the more you can observe. Maybe it's from a physical, visual sense. Maybe it's from a sensory perception. We can go back through the senses. Maybe it's the taste. You can taste more. Like if you're high, I know when I'm high as a kite and I start eating, oh my gosh, as long as I don't have cotton mouth, the flavors are exploding. I'm like, yeah, I could do this all day. Just another aspect of it.
We just call that the munchies, man.
Yeah, it's the munchies. It is the munchies, but sometimes you gotta drop a little scientific explanation of what the munchies is. You like, damn, this shit just tastes good. I just want to eat.
Now, when you get into mushrooms, though,
Ooh.
then it actually changes some brain and neural connections.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're not just tasting, but you're hearing and seeing your flavors.
Yeah, I like that.
Signal to a diaper change. I'll be back in 5.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Blah 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 blah. They talk about. So this is actually quite interesting for this time, because we're in a time of the veil is lifting. You can see the real in people. You can see the fake a little bit more. And And here in this book, he talks about the Rishis saw as a desire because they had that awareness, that mental acuity. They can see what's going on, perceive, and they see that those things that they do make major adjustments in the world around them. So they was like, oh, these people are asleep. This is actually back then, back in like Greco-Roman times. Before then, they were calling people sheep and sleep. It's the same thing. We ain't changed nothing. We just in the modern day and age. So I'm gonna tap into that. So the Rishis, their challenge was to find a way to help humanity come back into equanimity and recognize that we are all, meaning everyone and everything, in this together. There can be no difference between self and others. Divine presence is alive in consciousness and unconsciousness. When divine presence is awakened, there is an absolute consciousness, and it was out of this desire to wake people up to this reality that Ayurveda was born and communicated. The concept of duality permeates all mystic traditions and is hidden in many texts, including the Bible. Blah, 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 blah. So what that's talking about is, that's just introducing the concept of duality. There's some fun, and we're just going to dive a bit deeper into it. So we got the attributes. We got different attributes. The Rishis, as they were sitting there meditating, I like how they explain this, calling the senses different antennae. So I'm gonna drop that. The Rishis first realized it was necessary to pay attention to what the senses, the antenna of the body, registered. What they observed was that the sense provided very specific information known as attributes. Attributes are defined in Ayurveda as the 10 pairs of opposite qualities that express and reveal all of life's physical and emotional states into a workable form. There are many pairs that can be used, but Ayurveda chooses these 10 as the basic platform to describe all of life and living. The mind works by dividing everything into these 10 fundamental. It's fun because it comes before the mental. This is in the book. I did not make that up. Opposite qualities in order to make sense of the world. So here are the attributes. Different ones to just take note of. We have the dualistic qualities. Hot, cold, light, heavy, sharp, dull, clear, cloudy, smooth, rough, dispersing, dense, fast, slow, hard, moist, and soft, hard, moist, dry, and mobile and static. And these 10 pairs define life's multifaceted expression. So if you think about it, all the adjectives are going to drop right in line with these things, right? And it gives us it gives me a good way to articulate things like a feel, a sense, a taste, a sound, so many different things. I can like piece those two together and find out how I want to express it. All right, let's see. So those are the basic ones.
Michelle wanted to join us because I was just telling her yesterday that there were more than 5 senses. And her mom doesn't believe me. And I was like, oh, Michelle, he just started talking about senses. But
yes.
He came over and was like, okay, what's going on?
I love the sidebar. Hey, Michelle. Peace, queen. There are more than 5 senses. 5 are just the base senses that we know about. We have sight, because we can see. We have taste, because we can taste. We can smell, because this thing. We can feel, because of our skin. And the 5th one, oh my gosh, what might that 5th one be? Here, right? Yeah. So that's only 5. So the 6th one is the thing that processes all 5 of these senses. And that would be the mind space. Ooh. The mind, I look at as the king of the senses. It's the king of the senses. It's going to tell him where it goes, how it does, what it does, and why it does it. Ba, 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 ba. And what these things are as well. So
you don't gotta make a whole extra thing for her.
That was it. I just had to drop the gems because I know somebody on IG, boop, who just popped in. I see you, is listening, and they can get a little bit of the knowledge. It ain't in the book. I just like to throw things off when I can. Okay, so another little bit of the rules not rules, but some of the guidelines and things that they speak on are like increases like and opposites balance. So if you have like a lot of water and then you add water, it's going to increase the water. Or if you have a lot of water and then you add you have like a soda and then you add water, you're going to have more fluid. Like increases like. And opposites balance. So if you throw something a little crunchy in there, maybe you throw in some flour, that thing going to get thick. Right? Little similarities like that. But like increases like, and opposites balance. All right, so now we got the 5 elements. Boom, 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 boom. Any questions? Again, just drop them in the chat. Let me know. Say what's up. We got it. So the 5 elements, I always do this caveat because in America, we always butcher this thing and say like the 5th, we have earth, fire, air, water, and I use ether or akash. Akash is the actual word. However, ether is the closest related word that kind of matches what that non-English word is that we don't have an English word for. So we use ether. The other one used to be space. I don't agree with space because space denotes that there's nothing in between this container, this water bottle, and this mic. There's nothing in between there. It's just saying that these two things exist and nothing exists in between it. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. There's oxygen molecules, there's carbon dioxide because I'm breathing and my breath is all up in that space. We got a little spit going too. There's a whole bunch of things in here that we just don't account for. So by saying it's just space, we're really excluding a whole bunch of possibilities of what things could actually be. So ether, just to shift the mind. And these five elements also correlate to the 5 senses. What? That's also why we did this. I got you. So we have earth. The earth element is experienced through your sense of smell, and that's like your most primal sense. And like how dogs track things, how we can smell things and it can create like a direct memory in our mind. Yeah, or an image in our heads. As humans, we use our sense of smell to choose a mate in a more subconscious way. We're not walking around sniffing each other's butts. The nature of the earth element is structure, solidity, stability, and it's expressed in this world as form. Right? So that would be the earth one. There's earth inside us. What makes up our mental? What's our structure? What's our day-to-day structure? And physically, what are we doing with our body? What are we putting in our body? How are we moving our bodies? Earth. Then we have water. Water is perceived through your tongue as the sense of taste. And I say taste because think about how challenging it is to taste when you got cotton mouth, when your mouth is dry. It ain't happening. You like, okay. Water, taste. Let's see. Even like another correlation he uses if you have a cold and your nose is plugged and the only way to breathe is through your mouth, the mouth gets dry. He goes deep into it. Oh my gosh, he goes deep. Let's see. Oh, hey, I love the hop-ins. Whoever iPhone is, let me know. All right, let's see. Let's write your taste. Some other good things about water. Taste is also very important when chewing your food. Your brain then knows how to prepare the body to digest whatever has been eaten. If you just bite and swallow, which I sometimes do when I'm in a hurry, you miss out on the very important part of the digestive process. As soon as you start chewing your food, information is passed from your brain to your mouth, your stomach, your liver, your pancreas. Various digestive enzymes are mixed with the food itself before moving into the next phase. Many people can solve their problem of digestion by simply chewing their food more thoroughly. Ayurveda says chew your food until it liquefies. I do like smoothies. That's a lot of chewing though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of chewing. So I just add a whole bunch of extra, I just add a whole bunch of extra, of whatever I have to get it there. So then we got air, third element. Air is perceived through your skin. You feel the air element through touch. and the skin is considered our largest organ because it's the expansive network via the nervous system. Notice the sensations over your skin like a cool breeze, and you can even notice the difference between the skin underneath the clothes and the skins that are unaffected by the clothes. It's like, oh, there's nothing touching here, but the breeze feels different when it goes underneath. Under the shirt, ooh, oh, that's rough. When the wind moves across I already read that. Air is movement in space, and thus responsible for all movements within you and around you. It's responsible for the blinking of your eyes and the beating of your heart. It's this energy that initiates all action. It can be as gentle as a summer breeze or as forceful as a tornado. And last but not least, the butchered space, ether, Akash. The last element is Akash and is perceived through your ears. Sound is the most subtle of the five senses. This is why music and sound vibrations like mantras are so powerful. The nature of space is that it's everywhere and ever present. Out of it, the other elements manifest. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna drop some gems on ether and how all of the elements come out of ether after we finish this paragraph. In physics, it's described as a field in which everything takes place on. It's the container and an infinite one at that. Space can be described as the distance that separates matter. Look up into the night sky. I like that. The distance that separates matter. It gives a different perspective as seeing the space in between it. You're like, oh, the matter. Oh, okay. Maybe it hits someone else a little different, but it'd be smacking me right there. Let's see. Space occupies most of what is around you and inside you. It's unbelievable and mind-boggling. Wherever you are right now, look around and feel the existence of the space. When you get a chance, stare up into the sky. You might lose yourself. All the elements are represented on our fingers and toes as well. And there's a symbiotic relationship to all these elements inside us and outside us as well. So I was talking about how all of the elements came from ether. So we got this ether, right? Splash. I'm just pouring ether out, right? It's all right there, just chilling. And from this ether, there was the soundless sound, Om. The three bass sounds that human vocal cords can make without the use of the tongue, right? And that sound rippled through the ether. So it created a little bit of vibration. When it was vibrating, it starts like, as it vibrates and moves the ether, you see the air. They find the awareness of air because they saw something else was moving. They felt something else was moving. As that vibration of that Om starts to heat up and speed up, then you start to create friction and fire. So then, let there be fire. Fire comes. They start melting these cosmic particles, these really small things that we don't even know what the hell it is. And then it melts. We get water. So we got air, fire, water. That water is in a vacuum, a void of anything. And it's cold as brick out there. So that water turns to ice, which forms earth. Then that's earth, ether, fire, or ether, air, fire, water, earth. All five elements from that one. And that's a very good breakdown of how we create things and manifest things into this world. Everything comes from the inner, from that voice in our head, from that initiation, that drive that we have, followed by action, boom, manifestation. It sounds simple, don't it? Then we talked about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the three basic energies that are a combination of those five. And this is how they would communicate how the elements interact with the living. And that would be like Kapha, which is water and earth. That's like the more sluggish one. Let's see. Kapha is heavy, cold, dull, slow, cloudy, smooth, dense, gross, soft, moist, and static. And in your physical body, it's the site of our home. It's the site of home is in the stomach. The basic principles of kapha is expressed through form, stamina, structure, bones, teeth, being able to get stuff done. And then there's pitta. Pitta is the fire in water. And that's like the attributes of pitta are light, hot, sharp, clear, smooth, dispersing, subtle, soft, moist, mobile. And pitta is the principle of transformation. Fire is transformation. We burn it down, boom, to build it up new and stronger and better. That's the concept, at least. Fire transforms things, even your thoughts, and gives clarity of perception. I do want to tap in a little bit on that because for me, I use the practice to get a good idea of how my mind is. So if I'm doing the same thing each day, I start to notice when my mind is processing things outside of the flow that I'm doing. And when it does, then I'm like, okay, all right, I'm starting to realize that I'm a little bit agitated. I'm starting to realize that these other external factors are starting to play on me. As they do, the heat of the practice kind of gives me clarity as to what I don't have enough energy for. Because I'm feeling the hit. I'm feeling the heat. I'm feeling the burn. I'm like exhausted. And in those moments, the most I want to be as effective as possible. So I start really going into efficiency. All right, well, what am I doing wrong? And start making adjustments that way. So it gives me clarity. It can make things a little bit clouded if you jump on the feelings that are coming up just from the agitation. The Sif meditation will help you to separate, boom. Oh, these are the sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts that are affecting me, and this is what I really am. But, that's Thursday. All right, Pitta. Pitta's main location is the small intestines. And if you think about it, the small intestine is one of those symbiotic relationships within the body. Is the small intestines looks like the brain. The intestines in general looks like the brain, if you think about it, right? It's like all coily and stuff. And they're both information processors. The stomach processes physical matter in the form of food, and the mind processes more intellectual, more subtle data, nourishment in the form of information. So that's how they're just like compared. Let's see. Ability, and I like this phrase. He says, Pitta has the ability to take anything from the external environment and make it a part of you. I like that. It gives me an idea like, oh, so this thing that is hurting me or that I feel is holding me back can be like beneficial. All right, bet. How do I do it? And it's time to work. The last one is Vata. And I am very Vata myself, very airy. Air in space is Vata. The last, let's see, air and ether. And they say the attributes of Vata are cold, light, sharp, fast, clear, rough, dispersing, subtle, hard, dry, and mobile. Vata is changeable and unpredictable. It can be a summer breeze or as devastating as a hurricane. Its principle is movement, which is responsible for all expressions in life, enthusiasm, and prana, that life force energy. And there's one other thing I wanted to say about Vata. If you got any questions on the VPK, on any questions on the 5 elements, on the attributes, let me know. We moving forward. So we talked about Prakriti and Vakriti. We're going to keep going. Then we got those same Vata, Pitta, Kapha. You notice how it's 3, right? Then we got Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are more so aspects of the mind, qualities of the mind. Sattva is like a balanced state. Like if you're just, think like after yoga. After you get up and the yoga high is hitting and you can't really think clearly. But when you do want to do something, you like, oh yeah, it's that simple. Let's just do it. I don't have to put in much effort. That'd be like a sattvic state. You're balanced. You're ready to go. Whatever it is, it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. Not super excited. Not like, oh no, I'm Eeyore. Nothing like that. But balanced. Thomas is a little bit more like Kapha. It's a little bit more like sluggish. A little bit more sluggish, lethargic. Let's go with that. Thick, dull. Then there's Rajas. Rajas, which is just like mind pitta. Your mind is on 1,000,000. Pew, pew, pew. Let's see. Moving on past. And we're on page 92. The 6 tastes. I just want to go over these just to throw them in the brain a little bit more. Okay, the 6 distinct tastes that in Ayurveda that they recognize are sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. All foods have predominantly one of these 6 tastes, and it's very important because because as a result of each taste, the food will either increase or decrease the Vata, the Pitta, or the Kapha in the body. And this is how Ayurveda works towards finding balance. We see where the imbalances are. Maybe we're too fiery and we find a way to water that down. Maybe we're not fiery enough and we find a way to gas it up with the air. There's so many different ways it can go. I mentioned the whole point of digestion in the mind. Digestion in the mind, yeah. Now you see that the main home of Kapha, Pitta, and Vata are the digestive tract. And that's why digestion is so important in Ayurveda. And the key to vibrant health. This part of the anatomy is so crucial. The base of all health problems is based on weak digestion or Agni, fire, which creates Ama, toxins. Agni is fire, Ama is toxins. As we add more toxins in the body, we need more fire to burn them up, or find some movements to move them into a place that's already hot and toasty, and then you can kick them out, right? The root of digestion, but what feeds it is your reactive mind. The state of your vitality is rooted in your mind. The body is simply a mirror of what's happening mentally and emotionally. Ayurveda states that 95% of all dis-ease is based on unconscious mind choices. I strongly support these thoughts. As I just start incorporating these practices in my day-to-day life, I find out...
Repeat those numbers for me?
Huh?
Repeat those numbers for me? Because you just put your claim on it, so I want to make sure if they said 99.99, that's what I'm hearing.
Nah, they ain't throw the 99.9, but damn it, it is 95%.
That's still damn good. That is still damn good.
That's right there.
What go wrong with 95, you know?
Yo, if you in that 5% that gets got, it be like that sometimes. Someone's got to be that 5%. But yeah, 95% of all dis-ease is based on unconscious mind choices. And I tag on that because I started realizing, with my knee, my right knee is bone on bone. And why is it bone on bone? Because of my unconscious choice of how I chose to jump in and out of the truck when I was doing yoga. How is it in a state that is homeostasis for me, that is okay for me and normal for me? I had to learn from the practice how I'm just relaxing the muscles that support my knee. So then the entire time, all I'm doing is pushing the knee, the top of the knee, back on the top of the femur, down on the kneecap. Just helping the MCL compress a little bit more and just feeling a little bit more pain. Instead of just saying, oh, you can activate this muscle, create a little bit of space on that MCL area. And from there, I started to feel the lift inside, the arch in my foot started to happen. I didn't have an arch, started to get an arch in the foot, and started to realize how these little things connected. It's so much unconscious mind choices. Once we see how it's connected, we can make these small differences, and it's insane. Same. I'm being proactive with my joints, diet-wise, and with yoga and walking. Heck yeah! I was gonna say some sketchy words. Heck yeah! I'm with it too. And diet, they talk about some things that help for people who are really flexible, because I'm rather flexible. They talk about some type of oils for your joints to lubricate your joints, because otherwise it's just omega-3, the fatty acids, it's just bone on bone.
The bone broth, things like that. Stop the broth. That's what I read.
Thank you for the bone broth. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Bone broth really good for you. That's really good for you.
Okay, all right. They got some ghee butter, oil, depending on the oil. I do avocado oil. Avocado oil just be rocking. You can fry that joint high. I ain't getting that's off topic. That's off topic.
Good oils. My bad.
You good. Okay, think back to the last time you ate something when you were emotionally distressed. The food you ate probably didn't get digested very well. There are two ways in which people emotionally eat. One way is that I react when I get upset emotionally. I don't eat. That's me. I won't eat. I'm gonna starve like a motherfucker. What? We gonna be out this joint hungry. I'm gonna smoke a J though. Watch me not play. Let's see. The other way of emotional eating is eating to fill the void. The mind always pulls you one way or another on food choices, picking foods that are healthy and nourishing for you, so you can only come from having a clear mind. This is where yoga assists in the remedy of the restless mind. Restlessness creates unease or dis-ease, and we must address this first and foremost. Once the mind is at rest, you can become more conscious in making beneficial choices. Always listen to the needs of the body. Otherwise, you make the decision from an emotional place based on past memories. Bars on that one. I'm going to say that again. Always listen to the needs of the body. Otherwise, you make decisions from an emotional place based on past memories. I'll even tag on that a little bit because we gonna keep going. We don't have to tag on that. Okay. I think that's all for that. Agni and Ama. We talked about that. Agni is the fire. The Jathar Agni is the intestinal fire. There's also like a mental fire that we have. And also these correlate to our metabolism too. And the Ama is toxins that we either put into our body or are byproducts of the things that we did put into our bodies that were, good at one point. This is just some fun one. Just some fun things. They said, Ayurveda said that sweet is the taste of love. Love provides a feeling of nourishment. That's real. I could feel that. That's why we always get sweets when we're in those emotional places. Let's see where else is. There's some other fun ones here. What's it called? Valentine's Day was another one that they were talking about. Oh, he's not going into all of them back to back. But there's signs of weak Agni, of weak fire that are creating Ama, those toxins. Feeling heavy, unclear thinking, dull eyes, aches and pains, poor circulation, joint inflammation, bloating, gas, skin blemishes, fever, lack of energy, stickiness of stools, phlegm or excess mucus, or cloudy urine. Also, foul smell of urine, sweat, stools, phlegm, lack of appetite. All these are weak fire. A way to get more fire, I recommend doing things. Those things like tapas, the practice, the intensity of your spiritual practice or whatever your practice is, that, whatever it may be, it could be writing, it could be running, it could be walking, it could be headstand or handstand. Who knows where you are in your journey? That was Rashida. Let's see. Bad combinations that create Ama. Okay, so here's some things that they say don't do. Milk, eggs, fish. I'm eating the fish. I'm eating the meat. I'm eating the eggs. I'm all right on the milk. The baby calf growth fluid, I'm all right on that. I'm good. But the ice cream, if we freeze it, then it's happening. It's back on the table, right? That's just me. That's fine. I can take that to the grave. Oh, we zooming through the book. What? Where we at? Pranas, Tejas, and Ojas. Immunity. Okay, immunity. I think it's just important to talk about immunity in said times, right? Yay, nay. Ooh.
For sure.
Right. Oh, ice cream coconut yogurt?
So they have oat milk ice cream. It tastes delicious, different flavors, but it's made from oat milk. So you don't have to give up ice cream, but you don't have to have dairy, because that's the thing that's going for me. Like you said, I don't want to build mucus, but I love ice cream. You don't want to sacrifice that. You don't have to. They got yogurt too. It's it. They got dairy-free yogurt, ice cream, milk.
Ben and Jerry's got it too,
Right.
I hear you, but what's the...
I had to cut back.
Is it... But is it good though? Is it like...
It's delicious.
Is it crunchy? Cause that's where I got it. It's crunchy? Ew. Crunchy ice cream?
What do you want?
Yeah, what you mean crunchy? They can put crunchy stuff in it.
Okay. Alright. So have y'all had like Breyers and where's the other one? Ben and Jerry's. So when you eat Breyers, you gotta kind of like, it's kind of like there's little grains of sand in the Breyers.
Oh no.
I'm the only one who experienced this.
Is that a flavor thing? No, no, I haven't.
Right, what you eat?
Flavor or something? No.
Right, what you eat? Vanilla bean? I used to eat mine back in the day. And I don't know what you talking about. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, alright, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cause sometimes the ice cream be smooth and then sometimes it be a little crunchy. I'm like, yo, why?
It's creamy. It's just creamy. Smooth and creamy. You don't. Yeah.
Alright.
All of them. All the ones you said, I had all of them. Ben and Jerry's is my favorite. Sobe is another one. And that's the one that's got the oat milk. They got all that coconut milk.
Yeah, cookies and cream.
I kind of try to stay away from almond milk because that be processed. Almond milk is still processed.
Yeah.
The oat milk and all of that. I'm still trying to stay away from that stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
check it out.
Fair enough. I'm gonna give it a shot. Y'all speaking on it. Alright, let's see. Immunity is based on the simple fact that the body is able to fight off disease on its own. It's all in how we look at the germs, bacteria or viruses. Bad bacteria and good bacteria are flourishing simultaneously inside and all around us. Sidebar: the human body is made up of around roughly more, but around 60% non-human bacteria. I'm gonna say that again. The human body is comprised of around 60% non-human bacteria. So this body that you're lugging around, this rock that's flying through this void in this giant burning ball of fire in the sky, I forgot what I was going to say.
I think you're talking about the non-human bacteria.
You're carrying around 60% non-human matter. So are you really human? That's all. Moving forward. That's all. Let's see. Bad bacteria and good bacteria are flourishing simultaneously inside and all around us. The Western model is kill them all no matter what. And this is what happens when you happen to take antibiotics. It indiscriminately kills the good and the bad. This weakens the inherent strength of your immune system.
Yeah.
There may be a time or place for taking antibiotics, such as life-threatening situations, but for the most part, people in the West are popping these drugs like candy. Western medical doctors are dispensing them like it's Halloween, and the real trick-or-treat is overuse of antibiotics is unnecessary. What we need to do is to support our own natural immunity from within by building its probiotics, pro-life agents. Let's see. He goes a little bit more in on this, but this is into the antibiotics. We don't need to go into that. We got cleansing and rejuvenation. We're going to get into that afterwards because there's some different cleansing exercises that you can do. One thing is, one cleansing exercise would be a fast. You can just fast. I like to do I don't eat between 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. It usually start eating around 3 or 4 p.m. Today, I had nothing. But that's life. That's life. I'm going to work on that eventually.
Do you drink or blend when you don't do something before?
Yeah, most of the time.
Do you drink or have blended water in the morning?
Nah, I just drink my water. I had this will be a gallon of water when I finish this. I drink about 4 to 5 of these a day, and they're 32 ounces each. And I sometimes get coffee. It's been tea recently because the months is coming back, and I don't really need the coffee. I don't need the energy. Nah, I'm good. So, tea. But a fast would be one way to do a cleansing. It'll allow the body to flush everything out and to reset. So, and it allows it to reset. I don't want to say what the reset would look like because who knows? Who knows what your body needs to, like, a detox from? So it's going to act different depending on what we are expelling. Maybe it's some good stuff. Maybe it's some things. There's plenty of things. We'll leave that open. All right. Ashtanga Yoga. Yeah. What is yoga? Yoga means union, yoking, the joining, the coming together, to unite or join together. And I like to look at it as of the union of the mind, body, and spirit. Spirit can also, at this phase, be doubled as spirit or mind, body, and breath. The breath, our want to live, to breathe. That's the most important thing we need, even more so than that food we were talking about in fasting. Even more so than this water that I drink 128 ounces of. Even more so than that. I could probably go about 5 days without really... 4 days, I'm going to say 4 days, without really getting irritated from not eating. Jesus did 40. He got me beat. Water, there's a whole movie, 172 hours. This dude went 172 hours with his arm strapped to a rock because he was rock climbing, and he went 172 hours without any water until he sawed off his arm, and then with a pocket knife, and then went to the hospital. I don't know anyone going, let's drop the 72 minutes without breathing. I barely know anyone who can go 172 seconds without breathing. I don't know anyone personally, but I've seen it. David Blaine probably did. He did it, and Houdini as well. There's some people out there. But me, I don't know them personally. They're here in this internet world, but it ain't personal. Let's see. We got Ashtanga Yoga. So they talk about Ashtanga Yoga very accurately describes the step-by-step on how to free yourselves from attachment to the mind. He alerts us that the mind is but a tool to observe, the king of those senses, which can be controlled by the breath. He lays out a direction of how to be more conscious, more aware. And he doesn't say anything about controlling the mind, since that would be the mind coming through the back door to control itself. Ooh, right? So we're not controlling the mind. Patanjali guides us through the inner world in the same way a master scientist would describe the phenomena of the outer world. Out of the Patanjali ancient text, the basis for Ashtanga Yoga was born. And they didn't have any pens, so they said it over and over, and that's where a lot of the mantras and the chanting comes from. Since they didn't have like writing, calligraphy type stuff, they were like, nah, I'm just gonna say it. It's a verbal lesson, and that's how they passed it down, and that's how it's still passed down. The sequence is still there, but they don't tell you anything. Because the whole point of the Ashtanga practice is to unlock the inner guru in you. It's about figuring out what motivates you and how to get you what you need in the moment you need it. It's about unlocking that inner guru in you. That is so much more powerful than having someone guide you through anything, because you're not in control when that person's guiding you. You're just going through the motions. That person is the one that's helping guide you through your life. We want to involve ourselves in our life. Involution and not separation. Evolution in that form. Just in that form. Let's see. Then we got the 8 limbs of yoga. We're going to briefly go over this. We got like 10 minutes. We almost done. Yeah, we have the self-restraints and the observations that we place on ourselves. The yamas are self-restraints, and we have ahimsa, non-violence, asteya, non-stealing, satya, truthfulness, aparigrahya, non-possessiveness, and we have brahmacharya. There's a bunch of definitions of this, but brahmacharya can be go in the direction of God, it can be celibacy, or it can be sexual restraint. I like the latter. And the prior, going in the direction of God, that can mean a whole bunch of things. Maybe not God, maybe it's your purpose and your mission in this world.
I like how you caught that though. You was like, I like the last. Oh wait, the first one's okay too.
Yeah. The first one's okay, but it needs a caveat, so I gotta do that at the end. The first one's okay, but maybe it's not going in the direction of God. Maybe you don't necessarily speak to God or blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's your mission, your purpose, the thing that you're working on, something that's taking up your attention, your focus. That's
I really
your God.
feel like a lot of times when I read and absorb this information, the first thing I have to do is filter it against everyone else in the world and realize it's not for them, it's for me. And when you did the third one and then came back, I feel like that's what you kind of did. You gave us an insight into you, and I can connect with that a little bit because when I first mirrored things against the world, one of the top things that comes up is sexism and misogyny.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that comes up is racism and things like that. Then the religious and the church and the negatives that I grew up with that. So like, yeah, I think I vibe with you with that whole thing. Like,
that whole phrase.
On this first, but yeah, everything, yeah.
But we come back. And one thing about these 5, each yama has a way of instructing the yogi on managing his or her energy. Since these are self-restraints, when we're having unnecessary sex, when we're violent towards other, when we're stealing, when we're lying, when we're possessive, all of this takes energy from us. All of it. Every last bit. So we can manage how we're expelling our energy. That energy that can then be used to build us up. That's the point. Internally. So yeah, we went deep on those. Then we have the niyamas. Those are the fixed observances that we hear to discipline with regularity. So that just means we do these daily. We make sure it's a thing for us, and that would be cleanliness inside and out. Clean your house, clean your body, inside and out. Brush your teeth. Clean your mind, sit down and process, let things filter, see who you are, how you want to respond, so then you can dictate how you respond when you get thrown off guard in life. So we got cleanliness inside and out, the mind, the body, the place you're living in. We have santosha, which is contentment. I think this is a powerful one because being content within oneself, being at rest in oneself, you're not. Any action you're doing is not coming from a place of thirst. You're not like, yeah, I really don't need to do this, but I want to do it so bad, so I'm gonna sacrifice XYZ, what I've been working on, to get this now. Yo, counterproductive. What are we doing? Bring it back. Let's go. So contentment, santosha, at rest in oneself. Then we have tapas, which is purification, that fire that burns away, that helps to create that clear perspective, that helps to burn out those toxins, that ama. And that's generated from the intensity in your spiritual practice. How aware are you? How alert? How activated are you? What's going on? Then we have Ishvana Pranadana. which means surrender to God. However, surrender to your mission, surrender to a higher power, surrender to something that's greater than you, a higher purpose, the higher self. Like, it don't even have to be higher. It could be bigger. It could be the more vast. I don't know what word you want to use. Something better than you. Because if you think about it, anything that we do for ourselves, we limit ourselves to the capacity that we have in that moment. Everything that we can do is what we know we can do, as opposed to believing that there's something that you know you can do, something that you don't even know you can do, until you do something that you don't know you can do. Bow, there it is. I was wondering how the words was going to come out. And another good one, I look at this, surrender to God, in the form of relationships. Like, if you don't have a mission or something to submit to just give into higher than yourself, you can only do something when you're feeling it. And feelings are very fleeting, and things still need to get done. Also, how or why would you submit to somebody else if you feel like you're right and they're not, and you feel like they're not? If you have a mission to compare, like, oh, we're working on this. Well, you did this and I did that, and oh, okay, I see. But we still need to get this done, so we should just shut up and not worry about it, because all these little things are not as important as picking the kid up from daycare. So it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna just go pick her up. We'll talk later, and then it'll be a whole different thing. Not even think about it. Last one. Last one is Swadhyaya, but I don't know where that is on here. It's supposed to be on here. Swadhyaya means the study of spiritual texts, and I look at this very off script. Very off script. The study of spiritual texts, maybe that means your spiritual text is the Bible, maybe it's the Quran, maybe it's the Bhagavad Gita, maybe it's the Vedic text, maybe it's the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, maybe it's a book your parents read you that has no deeply philosophical meanings that we see in this world. Maybe it's a episode of Cow and Chicken, or Dexter's Lab, or something that really spoke to you, but it moved you. Who's to say that is not spiritual for you? That's all I have to say on that. Do what works for you. Some of these things have additional guidelines and texts and things that we can look at, but do what works for you. Osho, that might be a spiritual text for me. I'm gonna be dropping bars. This is a spiritual text at the moment. Shit, we going over it. So then we have asana, twist the body, move the body. Where we at? Oh, we got 1 minute. Oh. Then we got asana. That's the main form of yoga that we focus on, the movement. And then there's pranayama, which is breath work, which is controlling the breath, controlling that life energy. Life energy, not just breath. Life energy. There's so much more that comes with it. Then there is pratyahara, which is turning back to the source, or how I like to look at it, I like withdrawal of the senses. They say it's return to source. I like withdrawal of the senses. Pratyahara, I look at it as, I'm going to stop paying attention to sight. I'm going to stop paying attention to hearing. I'm going to stop paying attention to taste. I'm going to stop paying attention to smell. I'm going to stop paying attention to all these different things. So as I do that, I can better see how they affect me when I start to introduce them back in. And I do that with things like practicing with headphones in. With earbuds, it feels very different than having speakers. I feel like I'm way more secluded in my own world when I have the earbuds in. When I have the speakers on, it encases me in that vibe of the music. When I practice in silence, then I start to hear all the additional sounds that I make, all the additional grunts and things that I'm doing. So it's like, as you take these things away, as you practice with your eyes closed, you start to feel the wobble that you have in the lifting up, in the balancing stuff. So that's why this is great. It gives you a real good barometer of where you're at. Then there's Durana, which is the sixth limb, and it's translated into concentration. Pranayama is the bridge you cross over between the mind and the body, and Pratyahara brings you to the gate, the door where you are ready to enter the vast world within. Then it's possible. Then Pratyahara takes you to the door where you're able to concentrate. So meditation isn't like boom, snap, let's meditate. It's like, nah, we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna lose concentration. We're gonna lose our focus, because concentration is more so sustained focus. Blah 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 blah. We'll get into that later, but it's focus. Then we have dhyana, which means meditation. Meditation is sustained concentration. So once we have concentration for like a little bit of time and we break off, it's still not a meditation. When you're sifting and you go from one sensation, one image, one feeling, and then back to in one thought, and then back to your focus, that's not a meditation, because you are there present with the mind jumping from one sift to the next. Once you can see the sifts and create space from them, concentration is possible. It's I don't know what. And then the last one is samadhi, and they say that's fully dissolved, blah, 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 blah. I like to look at samadhi as just you balanced in all of these things. They make it seem like you're in like this blissful world. It does feel great, but it's not bliss. It's not 100% perpetual bliss. No, absolutely not. I feel as though it's just like a touch, just to remind you, just to give you that energy, that drive to keep doing what you're doing, to go back, so you can realize where that state is, what that mind space is, and move forward. Black Dasted. That's it. That's it for today. That's it for today. Because we're going to finish the book next week and then get started. Because we got 162. We got about 100 pages left. Less. Nope. We have 102 pages left. So we're going to finish that next week. We're going to get into the pyramid code, which is going to talk about mind, body, spirit, height, width, depth, solid, liquid, gas, which is going to talk about all those fun things. That's the pyramid code. Just a brief recap. I love the convo today, y'all. Y'all were fire. Thank you for the back and forth. I'm here for it. Outside of that, we're flowing tomorrow at 6. Ashtanga, all those 8 limbs, we're going to put them into a flow with measurable growth. It's here for you. 6 o'clock, same bat time, same bat place. What else is there? I'd like to thank UE, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education, restructuring how we see health and wellness in the community, bringing the power of growth and healing back into the individual's hands. I'd like to thank Surreal Audio Solutions, DJ Thrill, and No Commercials International. Go and check out the song on all streaming platforms. Download, share, meditate with us in the morning. Tap into that daily meditation accountability. We can keep in touch. It's a great way to keep in touch. If you have any questions, just drop them Jones off. Send a DM, send a chat. Email, all that fun stuff. What else is there? Last but not least, I'd like to thank Born to Fly, where fitness is fashion. And if you're up for some morning boot camp classes, he got you covered, and we got you with the yoga. Team workout this thing, making the dreams work. Outside of that, I'm excited to hear from y'all. Well, to see y'all tomorrow, Thursday, midday meditation, midday mind right. Saturday, float and flow. Sunday, whoosh, elevated sift and flow. Hey, and I know Tony about to drop something for MBK.
Yep, I just tagged MBK on the Instagram Live. Tuesdays at 8:30 Zoom. We're trying to create the greatest generation of men ever.
Come on.
Porn, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, shadow work, whatever the topic may be for the week, we dive in.
Facts. I be going. They be having some good stuff. We was playing the game night the other time. Man, I had to get off that joint. I was on there too long. We was playing Ox God. I was like, dang, I don't even really be rocking with games like that. But you got me hooked right now. I need to get off and get life happening. But one more round. One more round. Check out MBK. They do have ladies' night as well. It'd be great to have y'all come through, vibe, and share your perspective. What else is there? That's about it. Any questions, comments, you know how to drop it in the cheesy. Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods.
I love you.
Love you too. There's so much love. We gotta make it awkward.
Bye to cousin Jerry.
See you, cuz. I love y'all too.
He can see you.
Yeah.
He can see you. Let me
See you. Love you, cuz.
see you.
Hi. Peace. Oh, it's too adorable, yo. The kitties are too adorable. Turn this off. Peace. That didn't go the way I wanted it to. And stop.